Did you know you can import tensor with a capital T and tensor without a capital T from PyTorch? But what exactly is the difference between the two? In this video, we're going to go over it and show you why it's important to know this difference. Already from Pylance, what you can see is that the capitalized T is the tensor class, whereas the non-capitalized T is a function that actually returns an instance of the tensor class. And most of the time in practice, we use torch.Tensor without the capital T, such as this, to make tensors that we feed into our neural networks. In this case, a small image. But having access to the actual class itself gives you a lot of power over how these tensors are behind the scenes. And this can actually make your life much easier and make you much more powerful in the way you use PyTorch. So say the tensor class, you want to change it a little bit. And in this case, what I want to do is I want to make a new function called the awesome function, and just it prints out good job. But I want to attach this function or this method to the tensor class and have all future tensors have access to it. Well, I just import the capital T tensor and I attach this function to it. That's it. And now what you'll see is if I instantiate a new tensor, well, this new tensor will have access to this function. Good job. There you go. Now, this obviously is pretty mundane. Let's actually look at a useful example. Let's say you're working with a lot of image data and you want to add a function or a method to the tensors where you can actually show the image just by calling a method on the tensor itself without having to call in or invoke or import a different function that shows the image that has been outputted. So this show method, we want to put it into the tensor itself so that it's can be called natively from the PyTorch tensor. So now we create a random image. Don't forget to attach the show method to the tensor class itself. And now if we invoke image.show, well, there you go. We can see the image. And this is much simpler and much easier. The show method, now we've actually built it into the tensor and we've customized the tensor class to basically our needs. And this is kind of really cool.